Hey, you guys. Looks like we're here. All right, sorry about the technical difficulties. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. We have a technical difficulty problem tonight with Blog Talk Radio, so I'm doing this here. Um, I've had a pretty interesting week this week. So, what I'm going to cover in this episode, I wish it was going to be recorded. However, I don't believe that I know how to record on Google Plus quite yet. So let's enter together into this realm in time and space to increase our consciousness. And how to do this? How do we increase our consciousness in a way which allows us the ability to make the kind of changes that we need in this world? Because that is truthfully, technically, all that we're really seeking is a way to find complete bliss and happiness on this planet. Nobody comes to this planet and says, I simply want to dominate, rule, and feel like crap and create war. And people just don't do that. Not in the normal aspect of who they are. Unreal right now that Blog Talk does not allow me to get on the show. It's very interesting. So what I think is going to happen is we're just going to stay here, and it's just going to be all right. We have a little chat thing available. Now let me see if I can record this show, because if I don't record this show, I only have one beautiful listener listening to me ramble. And listening to me ramble is, I know it must be fun for some, but there's got to be a record button. Let me see what happens when I press the YouTube channel. Okay, so let's see. I don't know what's happening, but I have the YouTube channel up and running. I don't know what's going on right now. Add videos to playlist. I don't want to do that. Save playlist. No, I don't want to do that. Interesting. I'm not sure if this is recording on YouTube. I think it's possible. So if it is recording on YouTube, then we'll go ahead and we'll start the program. So starting this program, moving forward in life, what is it that we imagine ourselves to be? How do we picture ourselves running forward in a way which allows us complete control over the reality that we exist in? How do we do this? It isn't through intellect. It isn't through knowledge or reading books. Those things are tools to simply help you along the way. I get it. But let's say we had a direct access. We have a direct lifeline or a direct application that we can use to achieve the things that we want here in this reality. We can be the people that we want to be versus being led here and there just by the monkey mind and its undulations, emerging into emotions coming out into actions, and then experiencing the law of cause and effect while being here. How can we do this? This is what I want to give to people, is that you can experience complete bliss, complete happiness, complete freedom without having the world knock on your door, take energy from you, put you down, and then run you through cause and effect, because you are the only one that is responsible for the cause and effect that you put yourself through. And I know a lot of people that will point fingers at others and say, well, they made me feel this way. That's your fault, and that is your problem. There is nobody responsible for your feelings other than you. You are only responsible for the environment that you allow yourself to engage in on a moment-to-moment basis. That's it. It doesn't matter what books we've read. We can read every book, and every book can literally tell you, my book is the truth, and this is the true teachings of so-and-so, or this is the true teachings of... It means a goddamn thing. It means absolutely nothing what you believe in. What you or anybody else on the planet, any human being, if you have a belief, it means you do not know. And if you do not know, you cannot make a claim to force your belief onto others that your claim is correct. Because your claim is not correct. So therefore, you're forcing the world to be like you because you lack complete confidence in what you believe. Now, how does that feel? How does that make sense? Since you have a belief, you do not have knowing. I know that I have two hands. I don't believe that I have two hands. I know. If I take one of them and I smack you upside the head, you will also know that I have two hands. I don't have to impose my belief onto you. However, when it comes to this thing of consciousness, enlightenment, religion, everybody and their mom wants to impose their goddamn belief onto you, and it's nonsense. Get rid of it. Burn all the fucking books. Excuse the French. Burn them. They mean nothing. These books mean absolutely nothing unless the book gives you a method to achieve the consciousness that the author who wrote the book has. It means nothing. So you can talk about all the books you want. It means nothing unless you have gone inside via meditation and the breath and revealed what all of these sages are talking about. The belief you have doesn't mean squat. Now, I don't want to rant on people and their beliefs, but unless we do something to make a change, our beliefs will always rule us. Unless we do something to overcome this thing called a belief, we will continue to stay stuck and embedded inside of the monkey mind. The monkey mind will not quit. It will never give up trying to take your energy, and it will do everything in its power to keep you from revealing who it is. As long as the monkey mind can keep you in the law of cause and effect, you will never experience who you truly are as an infinite being. We can take intellect all we want, and we can talk about us being an infinite being and an energetic spirit, and we can talk about it. That's great. But unless we have actually had the experience, it is still a belief. So what I'm offering is the techniques for you to get out of the belief mentality and into knowing. If you can get out of the belief mentality and into knowing, we can set aside all of our personal issues and we can unite as human beings and unite through the breath. If we unite through the breathing, we will see that there is only one universal truth of energy. That is, we are infinite, energetic beings living inside this physical density, living inside this physical reality. And we are who we are based on the willpower of our breath. If we have enough willpower to take in the breath, we have enough willpower to be infinite in this specific moment. If we can use our breath in this one specific moment to overcome the five senses and to overcome the undulations of the mind, to take our breath as deep as we possibly can, we will see that emotions will rise. When emotions rise, we can clear. We can move forward. We can evolve consciously. We can add the fertilizer to our roots. And when we add the power and the fertilizer and the breath or the prana to our roots, we will bear fruit that the universe cannot deny. And bearing fruit does not mean millions of dollars. It doesn't mean anything other than consciousness and your ability to know God internally. And it will not be popular. It will not be popular at all. Matter of fact, you will be shunned and you will be looked down upon and you will be looked at as an abnormal person, which is very true because we are not normal people who constantly have to feed on the five senses like vampires. And that is odd for people. People don't accept that easily. Because once you see that you are different than them, it forces them to question themselves. And most people simply do not like what they see when they look in the mirror. They may mask it, and they may put all the makeup on, and they may put all the clothes, or get the cars, or get the houses, or make the money, or get the girl, or get the guy, or do whatever to mask their emptiness. But when they are 100% alone, that is when they have to be truthful and answer to themselves. And only then are they capable of being truthful to who they really are. Only you know what you're capable of when you're alone. And some people simply cannot be alone. They really can't. So if we can take some time to be alone and to advance on our path via yoga, meditation, kriyas, or just simply being nice, moving the energy within so the actions that you produce come out into the world in a loving, positive way, you will change the planet. One action can change the world. That's all it takes. All it takes is one action. I have a question in the group, and they ask, do I believe in karma? No, I don't. I don't believe in karma. Karma is inside of the law of cause and effect. If I do something and I send an energy into the world that is specifically for my own gain and benefit, without the acknowledgement of bestowing to the world has no other choice than to take back that energy. It's not karma, it's the law of cause and effect. What my attachment to that outcome is my choice. I can do all kinds of things. I can build a giant castle and never put a foundation underneath that castle. And the first heavy rain that comes wipes my castle out. Is that karma? No. That's cause and effect. If you don't do things the right way, you will be in the law of cause and effect. It's a funny story I'll tell. There was this old Eskimo, old Indian Eskimo. He's been fishing his entire life. He goes out to this secluded, sacred place to fish every single day at sunup. As he's sitting there and as this old man is all bundled up, he cuts a hole into the ice. He throws his line in the hole. He starts fishing. As he starts fishing, an hour goes by, nothing. He catches nothing. All of a sudden, this young kid with a boombox and radio playing music obnoxiously, this old man looks over and he's just appalled. He couldn't believe what the hell was going on. The kid sits down. 10 minutes after the kid sits down, the kid reels in a fish. The old man is disgruntled as much as he can be. He couldn't believe it. That guy's been there for hours, day on end, and he did not catch any fish. However, this kid comes with his radio playing, and he catches a fish. What kind of blasphemy is this? This old man knows the right bait. This man has studied the environment. This man has caught more fish in his life than this kid is of age. Yet this kid comes with his arrogance and obnoxiousness and attitude with his radio, sits down and he catches the fish. This is blasphemy. This is absurd. 10 minutes go by. The kid reels in another fish. The man gets very angry. The man couldn't believe it. He just sits and he just ponders to himself. He reels his own line in. He checks his bait. He puts fresh new bait back on. He throws his pole back in the water and he sits cross-legged, squeezing his fishing rod tight. Another 10 minutes go by. The kid reels in another fish. This man said, "That's it, I've had it." He reels his pole, sets his pole down, he walks over. He walks over to the boy. The boy, sitting there, radio blasting. Old man asks, "Excuse me, son. I've noticed I've been sitting here for hours and I've caught nothing. You've been here 30 minutes and you've already got 3 fish. I must know your secret." And the kid says, "Roo, roo, roo." And the old man says, "Excuse me, couldn't hear you." And the kid says, "Roo, roo, roo." And the old man again, he says, "I can't understand what you're saying. Can you turn the radio off and tell me what your secret is?" Kid turns his radio off, and he spits out this giant blob of slime and goo. And he says, "The secret is you have to keep the worms warm." So, in life, the whole method of that story is that not everything is as it seems. And in order to have the right outcome, you have to perform the right actions. And sometimes you may not see from a distance what those right actions are. So you shouldn't ever be too quick to judge somebody. So I hope that answers the question. If it does, I'm excited. If it doesn't, I am more than happy to elaborate further if need be. So moving forward, after talking about karma, I want to talk about the next phase in evolution. The next phase of taking our thoughts, uniting the thoughts in a peaceful, loving way, so every one of us that are listening can gather and take the energy of our thoughts and project them toward the same common goal. If we move our thoughts toward the same common goal, we can be free of this incarnation cycle. If we truly want to be free of this incarnation cycle, we have to do the right things. And the right things come from the knowledge and wisdom of all of the sages. The sages will tell us we must do the right things. We must use the breath. We must rise the energy through the Sushumna Nadi to create the orbit within. If we create the orbit within, we can dive internally into each energetic center called the chakras. As we dive into each chakra, we will dive into a different world where we store emotions that need to be cleared. It's not always pleasant, and it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. All it means is that you're moving forward and evolving. As you plant a seed in the ground, the seed is covered with manure, which is gross, compost. And a question came in, is there such thing as a righteous kill? So I'm going to keep telling the seed story and I'll say yes. So this is how this works. The seed goes into the ground. The seed itself goes through a little mini death. Once that seed sprouts, the seed itself is dead, and the plant which is inside has to work its way through the mud, the manure, the nastiness, and the water to get to the light. That is no different than us. You see, there is no death when you are in tune with your infinite being. There's death for the body. But you die every single night when you go to sleep. You have a little mini death. Now, as for the question, is there a righteous death? Every death is a righteous death because you cannot kill energy. You see, and I know where this question is coming from. Killing is not righteous. Killing is taking energy. However, you cannot kill energy. So when somebody performs the act of killing, they're not killing the individual or the thing that they think they're killing. They're simply killing a piece and a part of themselves. So when they say, "Thou shalt not kill," they're not talking about taking a gun to somebody else. Because you can take a gun to 1,000 people, and it's not going to mean anything to them. They're free. You're stuck, because you're going to have to pay for those lives. You now inherit every bit of their energetic karma. And you have to pay for it. It's no different than a banking transaction. Now, if we move east and we talk to some samurais or even warriors, they will say there is a righteous death. And a righteous death, just like the Spartans will say. They laugh, and the Spartans saw all of the boats coming on the shore. When the 300 Spartans saw all those boats, the millions and millions of people, all of the Persians showing up to shore, they were happy. Why were they happy? Because they felt that was a righteous death. Because they believed in such a unity in consciousness and family that if they were to have died on battle, that would have been a righteous death. As for animals, animals are an innocent, sentient being. Every single animal should have a right to live. There should be no pleasure in taking life from an animal. Truth be told, if we were all connected to our inner spirit, we would be what's called breatharians. We would not need sustenance from meat. We would eat very little veggies, if eat at all. Now, this may sound a little crazy, but when you're connected to the breath, you would store and eat what's called the manna from heaven. Once you start your orbit and your orbit becomes open and you connect to your own inner energies, you will get saliva filling your mouth at a very fast rate, and you will have to continuously swallow that saliva. That saliva is charged from the prana that you are breathing. Once that prana is charged, you then lift eyebrows or eyes looking up to the brow center, and you swallow, and that will energize you. That will give you the sustenance that you need. But we're too disconnected from this reality. We're so far disconnected from that way of being. To tell somebody that of the normal society, there's no way you can tell them that they need to be breatharians. But if you look it up, you will see there's many yogis who are breatharians. There are many yogis who exist simply on the breath alone. So if we can unite together in consciousness to become breatharians, we will impact this world in a way that is unfathomable. The state of the world doesn't have to continue at all in violence and pain. If we can change on the individual level, all we have to do is connect to our breath. If we connect to our breath and we change one molecule internally into happiness and love and positivity, the entire world will also change. Whenever we destroy, what we're actually looking to destroy is a thing that is ruling us. We just don't know it, and we're not conscious. And since we're not conscious, we believe that dominion over other sentient beings is our natural right as humans. And that's what the ego will always tell you. That because you have a consciousness, you have a right to take life from another being. And that is absolutely incorrect. But to study duality, I will let it be okay. I let it be okay because they have no idea that they're killing themselves. And the faster that they destroy themselves and get rid of this ignorance, the faster the sentient, enlightened beings can come and take over the world and get rid of this bullshit, negativity, ego, dominance. So I say, let them, and it sounds so horrible, let them make rhinos extinct. Let them. Because what they don't understand is they're bringing themselves closer and closer and closer to Judgment Day. And I don't mean that in a biblical sense. I mean that in a way that the earth is going to shake us off like fleas and then hit the reset button. And only those who have ascended energetically will get to come back to paradise. There will be two earths. There will not be allowed any negativity. You'll see this in all the movies. You'll see the splitting, just like the splitting of atoms. The splitting of the earth will take place. And the people who are gross and disgusting of the ego mind will stay on that earth, and they won't have any idea that the enlightened beings have ascended. They won't have a clue. Just like a lot of the families of the people who have chosen this path, they won't have a clue to who you have become. All you have to do is keep doing the right thing and keep moving forward. Never letting another entity rule you or command you. You take command of your own life through your breath. And by taking command of the breath, you become the warrior inside that you need to be. You become the god or the goddess that you should be. The sentient being in which brings this earth to a new level of consciousness and rises up out of the ashes to create a world in peace and love. So that's going to be the end of the show, guys. I don't know if it's recorded or if somebody was able to record it. So we'll see if it happens on YouTube. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then it is what it is in the universe. We'll hear the words, and it will spread amongst the thoughts of people. So good night, everybody. I love you, and we will talk soon. Goodbye.